Hey, beautiful people, and welcome to another episode of The GYST. When it comes to life, love, and the pursuit of happiness, sometimes you just need a moment to get your shit together. And so do we. Welcome to The GYST. I'm your host, Kay, and I got my co hosts with me, Valerie and Steph. And tonight, we are going to write our verbal letter to Black men called Dear Black Men. And this whole idea, as I shared on the intro video that I always do for the upcoming episode, that Essence tomorrow is doing a segment called Dear Black Men, hosted by Anthony Anderson from Blackish. And I just thought, what better way to have a conversation before I watch that conversation of what would we say to Black men? If you wrote a letter to Black men right now, what would you have to say to them? I mean, there's so many things. I got questions. I got, stuff that I want to say. I got statements I want to make. But what would you say to Black men? Let's start with a question. What question would you ask Black men, and why? Stephanie.
Oh, I was waiting for Val to go first because she's in the center square.
I was waiting for you to go first because you always go first, and I didn't have an answer yet, so I just figured you'd jump in.
Well, I have a generic question. Dear Black men, why do you make this so hard? And by this, I mean everything. Just everything. Relationships hard, change hard, power play, in the household hard. I feel like there is a struggle, and whereas we're supposed to be on the same team, I feel like we're at a tug of war oftentimes.
So you're asking the question of why do they make things so hard?
Why do you make this so hard? Because a lot of it is easy.
When you're talking about, but wait a minute, when you're talking about this, are you talking about relationship? Are you talking about marriage?
Okay, so I think you were looking at something when I said that this is what this is.
Oh, okay, got it.
And I said this is everything. It's a lot of things. Even just a simple relationship. Who's gonna call who? Where are we gonna go? Who's gonna ask who out? Just a date.
So now, do you think, how much of that do you think is the responsibility of a man? So you're dating somebody. Do you believe that he should be responsible? If he asks you out on a date, he kind of should be responsible for providing the details. Where are we going? What we gonna do? How we gonna do it?
That's twofold. Oh, I'm sorry, that wasn't for me. Never mind. Center square.
Right. Well, I think it is probably for either one of us, but I'd say not necessarily. I mean, if a man asks you out on a date, and he might ask you out and say, "What would you like to do?" So it's okay for you to say what you want to do. So I don't know that it's necessarily that he has to provide all the details. I mean, because I think, again, when relationships start, you kind of play that dance, like, who's in what role. So I think even as something as simple as, okay, where are we going on a date? That could be either one. Now, if as a woman, you choose to say, okay, well, no, I want to pick where we're going and what we're doing, then pick going and what you're doing. But if he asks you, what do you want to do? And you give him the details, I don't think there's anything wrong with that either.
Right. I mean, I get it. And so, dear Black men, why do you make things so hard? Why do you make things so difficult? And what do you think a Black man would say to that question? Why do you make things so hard? What do you think the first thing he gonna say?
I'm not making nothing hard.
Right. Exactly. I'm not making it hard. That's you. You're making it hard.
You're making it hard.
Right.
First thing he gonna say is, "I ain't making it hard. You making it hard." Like you making it difficult.
I just asked you
Because
where you want to go on a date, and you got a problem me asking you where you want to go. Just say you want to go to the movies. Just say you said Applebee's. You don't like Applebee's. You too good for Applebee's.
I'm so mad Applebee's was the option. Okay, I'm just real mad about that. But
Oh no!
what in the world just happened?
What?
Oops.
Is she okay? Oh, thank God! It was just a laptop and not that.
No, right. It was, I was laughing at you, and I guess I got a little overzealous with my laugh. But listen, no worries.
Got you. All right, you back. You back.
Right. I didn't fall over. The laptop did. I did
Listen,
not fall over.
we weren't sure. We just wanted to make sure. We just wanted to make sure you were hurt. You know? So, all
No,
right. Because then we would have to say, dear black men, can you help a sister up?
Can you help us?
Can you help a sister up? That's all I'm
well,
saying.
I think in my case, the black man you'd need to call is downstairs. Just call him, and he should.
Did you go see
Right.
if your wife is all right?
Yes.
He should run right up. He should run right up.
Did he run up? I don't hear anything. I don't hear.
Well, he didn't hear anything. It wasn't as traumatic as it seemed to you guys. It wasn't. So, there was nothing
So, all right. So,
It looked pretty traumatic from here.
all right. So, dear black men, why you make things so hard? Val, if there was something you could ask, a question you could ask black men, what would that be?
Gosh, and you know, this entire few minutes that we've been just talking about what's the Stephanie's question, I've been trying to figure out what would my question be. And you know, what would my question be? My question might be, I don't know, you know, it could be twofold because I'm thinking, dear black men, why aren't we enough for you, black women? Yeah, I think that would be my question in some situations. Why aren't we enough for you?
And so that is a open-ended kind of question because why aren't
It
we
is.
enough for you in terms of what? In terms of them dating outside of their race, why are we not enough for you? In terms of infidelity, why are we not enough for you? Like, what stands out more when you ask the question, why are we not enough for you?
Well, and that's why I said it's twofold because it
Right.
really is two different things. Like depending on where you were in your life. I was always someone I've dated outside of our race once, but in general, I've only dated black men. So if I say, okay, I only want to date, like that's my preference. I have wondered when I was much younger why it seemed that there were so many black men who were interested in dating outside of black women. Now, as I've gotten older, and you just see what a melting pot we become, and now black women are certainly dating outside of the race. So I don't really have a problem with that. Um, so then my other question is, why aren't we enough when it comes to infidelity? But again, I think it kind of depends on where you are on that subject. So that's
And
why I said it's twofold.
because I read an article once that talked about black women were the last on the totem pole to actually feel comfortable dating outside. Now, this generation is different, of course.
Right.
The last few generations are a
Exactly.
little different. But our generation, we were the last on the totem pole to really get comfortable with dating outside our race.
Exactly.
Everyone else, white men, white women, black men, they were all dating outside their race comfortably. Black women, however, would not. They would not. So, that's a struggle that I think some of us still have, especially baby boomers, of dating
Mm-hmm.
outside black men. I'd love black men,
Right.
love black men. But a lot of us have issue with dating outside of our race. And so, that could definitely be twofold of why are we not enough? Because if I was honest, I would say I believe that black men, of course, people should date who they love and be with who they love, and it doesn't matter. But if I were being selfish, I would say, why are you not with a black woman? That's the honest truth.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Why are
And
you not with a
especially
black woman?
if you're in a position that as a black woman you only want to date black men, but then the black men are dating more than black women,
Right.
that's a problem
Because
for you.
there's so many beautiful, black, smart, intelligent, just
God damn it.
See, now I know this time. Validate. But
women that you could date.
Hey,
hey,
it's not a good night. It's not a good night. But go ahead. This is what happens when it's live. Just talk amongst yourselves. Go ahead.
So, so, so there's so many women that, beautiful black women. I sometimes do have that question. Why do you feel the need to um, date outside the race?
I
When
personally think it's a very simple answer. I think it's because they can. That's all.
well,
I don't even think they put a lot of thought. I can. So I do.
and that's easy enough to say for anything and
Yeah.
everybody.
You
But
know?
when you talk about, things like procreation, when you talk like that is what makes it 100% black.
Yeah,
You
but
know what
we
I
all
mean?
don't, but a lot of people don't feel
And
that way. And
I
I
know, I know,
I
I
think men
absolutely
are
know that.
very, and this is not a knock on men. I think men are much simpler than we are. You know, if a man wants something, he goes after it. Period. If a woman wants something, oh, I may sit back, I may, eye it up, I may think about it, I do this, I do that. Men are very simple. Want
Mm,
it? I see it. I'm going to go get it. And I
Right.
think a lot of times men just make these knee-jerk impulsive reactions. Oh, I like it, I'm going to go get it, whether it's a car, a dog, a woman, a shirt. Go
And
get it.
I'll say this. I had a conversation the other day, and what I do believe about black men is that when we are in relationships or a relationship dissolves or our marriage dissolves or we get divorced or we break
mm,
up or whatever, we have this thing that kind of says, oh, I'm going to find myself, I'm looking for true love, I'm looking for this thing, I want it to be this certain thing.
right.
And men will never, ever, ever sacrifice their happiness. They will always make it a point to be happy. We don't. We don't. That's why we sit and say, oh my God, I only want to date, a black man. I only want,
Right.
because we won't put our happiness first.
First.
And black men always do. They
Now,
always
is
do.
is that a black man thing or is that a man thing in
I think it's a
general?
man thing. Period.
I, I,
Right.
I,
I can.
I I think that could, you're probably right. That is a man thing, but they will always make sure that they're happy,
Right.
regardless. Because even if the marriage is on the rocks, he will go find happiness. We will sit there and read self-help books and we will sit there and call 10 girlfriends and we will sit, he will go find happiness, even if it's for the night,
And it's not
even
in a
if it's
book.
for,
Right. It's not in a
exactly,
book.
even if it's for the night. And April, who's on Facebook, that's why I keep turning like this, because April says, I think black men fear black women's strength, which we often talk about that, or we often say that black women do not like they are challenged by the aura of black women. They're either calling us
Mhm.
angry or we're,
Right.
or we're too demanding or we want too much. And we have that stereotype that, white women are doing something different for black men than black
Right.
women are.
And we're not supportive, and they are, because that was
Right.
certainly the
Right.
stereotype back, early on in dating, like back in the 80s and 90s. That was kind of the thing, that, black women were angry, we weren't supportive. And so that's why in college all the athletes were dating white women, because we weren't being supportive.
And even in professional sports, that's why they were
And
dating
and
white
listen,
women.
after I heard that, I definitely wasn't supportive. So let me just be
But listen,
wasn't supportive.
what you say? I'm not supporting you now, for real. Like, I'm
Right.
just not supporting you right now.
Like, I
But
was interested in being supportive, but now that you've told me I'm not going to be
yeah,
supportive. I'm not.
yeah. So, so the question, but what now? What do you want to say? If you had something to say to black men right now, to either be better or to do it differently, or what would you say to black men? You ask them a question. You say, why is it so hard? Or you're asking, why, are we not enough? Now, what would you say to them? What would you say? Kick rocks with no socks? Like, what
You
would
know,
you say to them?
I'm at the point where, honestly, it's a matter. I don't believe anymore of fighting with people for people to be who I want them to be. My response is, do you? You do what makes you happy. If it doesn't suit me, it just doesn't. I am okay with saying, do what makes you happy. We all have a right to be happy. You do what makes you happy.
You do.
And
You all have a
we cannot force people to be what we want them to be. People can change, but they got to come willingly to that table. I
listen.
can't drag you kicking and screaming.
I say this: black men need to do better, because guess what? My worth is not based on how good I can fry a damn chicken or make freaking macaroni and cheese and shit. Like what? Because men are like, oh my God, can she cook? Really? Is that a determining factor? Is that a deal breaker?
At
Can
the
she
end of the
cook?
day, it doesn't matter.
And
At the end of
listen,
the day.
How good
nowadays
does she make? Like, come on.
nowadays most people aren't cooking. So like that has nothing to do with your worth. And I agree with you, Kay, that you got to do better, because the bottom line is, like, we talk about what would you say to black men.
But
The
you know
bottom
what?
line is,
Go ahead, Val. Go ahead.
no, I was just going to say that, the thing is, despite all the drama and stuff they take us through, we love them anyway. So yeah,
Yeah,
you got to do better,
you gotta
because
do better.
we're right. You got to do better, because we're standing by you no matter what. We still love you. We're still there
But see,
with
that's
you.
the
So you got
problem.
to do better.
See, I think that's part of the problem, because no
I
matter
agree.
what ridiculous,
Yeah.
trifling stuff they do, it's all right, baby. I know he didn't really, we have to hold people accountable. And holding them accountable sometimes means making hard choices and hard decisions.
Right. So
And
then maybe the question really isn't, what do we need to say to black men? It's more about, what do we need to say to black women? Like, stop
but
putting
here's
up
the
with that.
thing. But here's a bigger issue. Everything that is written, from books to articles to blogs to conversations to shows, everything is based on what women need to do for men.
Right.
It
But we shouldn't be
never
doing it for
really.
men. You're doing it for yourself. That's the difference.
Exactly,
That's
and
the
that
difference. I'm
is
not
the
doing it for you.
problem.
I'm doing it for me.
And this is what we are learning, is that, oh, here's all these things women need to do to get a man, to keep a man, to want a
Right.
man, to have a man. It is all of this stuff. And rarely are we ever talking about, what do men need to do? Men will say, oh, I need her to have a flat stomach and he got a beer belly. Oh, I
Hello.
need her to look like this or have her real hair when you got no hair. And like, it's all of these demands that are put on us. I need to say to black men, you need to do better. You need to do better. You need to have bigger dreams in what you want to see, other than whether she can, you know, uh, swing from the chandelier, or whether she can cook some fried chicken, like I said. I'm gonna need you to do better with it. I'm gonna need you to want more, and we want more
Right.
too.
Or stop.
Because just
Right.
like
Stop
you
worrying
want me
about
to
what
be
her
thin,
credit score is and what's yours.
right? If you want me to be thin, I'm gonna need and healthy. I'm gonna need you to be that too. I need you to be that too, because if not, I'm gonna wind up taking care of you. So
You
I'm
get it.
saying to get your shit together, okay?
And
Because
while he's doing that, I'm gonna live my life. You go ahead, Tiffany.
yes, wait,
What do you say? What do
Charlene,
you say,
wait a
Stephanie?
minute. Charlene says you are so used to losing, you don't know when you're winning. That's what she would say to black men. You're so used to losing, you don't know when you're winning. They don't know, and I'm assuming
You
that
know
means
when
they
they
know
know
when
what
they
they
got a good
losing?
thing.
They know what they've lost when you walk away and don't look back.
Yeah.
Go. There's no need to, I'm gonna make him under. You're not gonna make him do nothing. You
No.
make him. You
No,
gotta go live your life for yourself.
no. Because, and the reason that we think that way, the reason we think we can change black men is because somebody told us that if we do A, B, C, D, E, F, then we will have a man, he will love us forever, and we will live happily ever after. And it's not true. It's
Oh,
not
that's
true.
so not true. It's not
It's
true
not true.
because men also don't do anything before they decide it's time to do it. So you can be the best, whatever you think you are, and he still won't propose. And a month later, when he decides he's interested in getting married, he'll propose to the first thing that walks up.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could be the best of the best. You could be the most educated. You could make the most money. You could have the best body. You could, and he will find somebody else and say, you know what, I'm gonna do her too. I'm gonna do her
Because you
too.
know what? At the end of
exactly.
the day, it's not about you're offering whatever it is you're offering. Somebody wants it. It's wonderful. It's more about the other person. If someone's gonna be a cheater, he's gonna cheat no matter what you look like. You
Oh,
know, it doesn't matter.
exactly.
If he's a liar, he's gonna lie no matter what you say or do.
That's
If he's
why ain't no need to fry no chicken. Ain't no need to make no baked macaroni and cheese unless you want it. Okay? I'm just saying. Ain't no need to wash it. Ain't no need to do his laundry and shit. Like what in the
right,
Why we doing that?
Oh,
right.
listen, I'm not doing anybody's laundry. The only laundry I do is my 4-year-old. That's it. Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Well, who do your husband laundry?
My husband does his laundry. We don't do that. Mm-mm. We don't do that. No.
Do your laundry how you did before you met me. I wasn't doing it before you met
Right.
me.
We all do our own laundry. The only laundry I do are for the kids in the house. And once I teach them how to do laundry, that's over.
Listen, they have got to do better. Now, one thing that I will say is that black men need to learn how to communicate better. And because that's my thing, communication. They really need to know how to communicate better. And we do too. We could use some schooling on how to communicate
Sure.
as well, because again, communication is key in any relationship. And I think it's hard sometimes for us to talk to each other and say what we're really feeling, sometimes out of fear of losing something, because you figure if you tell them what you're really feeling, you may lose it. And so we don't, and we just suffer in silence. But if I had to say anything to black men, I would say do better, but communicate even better than that. Communicate with us, talk to us, and I'm gonna need you to be with black women. That's just my thing, though. That's
I
just
think
my
I
thing.
would
Okay.
say, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would say, and this goes both ways. Let's take care of each other a little bit better.
Ah,
Yes.
It's
Yes.
not
ah,
it's not degrading for me to make the person I'm with a dinner plate. It's not
Right.
degrading for him to start, your husband to start your bath and lay out your towel, your candles for you.
Right.
Those are things you do for the people you love, right? And we're all out here working and fighting in this world every day. When I come home, I need the person who I'm spending my life with to show some tender love and care.
And listen, I
Care.
get that. But when you have people, again, let's go back to it's, whatever we read. And that's why they tell you be careful what you watch, be careful what you read, because that gets embedded in your mind. So when act like, what was that thing Steve Harvey did? Act like a lady,
Act
think
like
like a
a
man,
lady,
kind of
think like
thing.
a man. Yeah.
And and I remember him having a conversation, and he was saying, listen, ladies, when your man comes home, don't hit him right away with what's going on in the household. Let him sit down for about
Mm.
30 minutes or so and, have a drink or just relax his mind. And I'm thinking, damn, really, what, like, so when women hear that, and especially from somebody they believe in, that to me is an issue,
Yeah.
because you're saying to us, these are the things I need to do in order to keep him. How ridiculous is that? I'm going to let you come home. There could be a crisis happening. I'm going to let you come in and sit for 30 minutes. I ain't get 30. I didn't get 30
Right.
minutes. But
Right.
I'm going
If
to let
we're
you
both
come in
out
and get
working,
30 minutes.
The
right.
dog has to be walked like.
Right. If we're both out working, why do you get 30 minutes and I don't? So you get to come home, have a drink, and then I tell you the basement burned down? I mean, what?
Right, right. This is what I'm saying. I'm like, what? No, absolutely not. So, dear black men, you do not get 30 minutes to chill before I
No.
tell you what's happening in this household. You do
Right.
not.
But
Because
see, you know what? I would be that one to get 30 minutes. When I come home, I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk
Stephanie, if
not
some crisis is happening in your house, you are not going to let that man sit down and be like, you
Mm,
know what, I'm going to
right.
give you 30
yeah,
minutes.
but most days there's no crisis.
No.
It's the usual. The dog chewed up something.
But I'm saying, if the usual, if I show up at home and something has happened that I've got to deal with as soon as I walk in the door, no, you don't get 30 minutes before I tell you about what I came in and dealt with as soon as I got home. No, you're not getting that.
Most likely, I've
I'm
already
sorry.
texted you while you're driving home. You believe what happened in the basement? Just
Right, right.
Like the basement burned
You
down.
know, so Delphine said, yes, I need to know what you're bringing to the table. What are you bringing to the table? And I do agree with you, Stephanie, in saying, there's nothing wrong with you making your man a meal, your husband, or whatever. It's
Right.
nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with him running a bath. But at the same time, it's nothing wrong with him taking out the trash either. And
No.
so
yeah,
I
that's an
believe that
expectation.
exactly,
Right.
I believe that there are definitely roles. And while some of those roles can be switched, some of them should not be. Now, if you're out of town and you're traveling for work and you're not here, yes, I will take the trash out. But you need to take the trash out, period. Like, I believe there are some things that men are supposed to do, and there's some things that women. And some of those roles can be interchangeable. Don't get me wrong. I think both people should be able to cook. I don't think
They're
that's like
not.
a woman thing. I don't think
Yeah,
that's like a
but
woman thing where
and
only a woman
it's
can cook.
not right. It's not a woman thing. The unfortunate thing is a lot of times, and you look at how men are raised, and if their mothers and sisters were doing all the cooking for them, they've pretty much come to the table not knowing how to cook. So,
Right.
do you want to eat what they cook? I don't know.
What do you say? Do you worry?
Do you
Do
want
you
to eat
want
that
do you want Salisbury steak and gravy every night?
every night? Right? Do you
Or you
want the
want
one
hot
dish
dogs?
all the time? And the other thing I just thought about, when you talk about black men, what I would also say to black men is like, get to know me, like know what I want. Don't assume I
Oh,
want whatever it is you've been giving to everybody else you met,
right.
because I'm I'm a different kind of woman. Like there are some things, like if I may not be the kind of woman who wants you to give me jewelry. Find out what I like and give me what I want, or, focus on that. Don't just, give me what you think I want and then be mad that I don't seem excited about it.
Yeah, and I think because we carry baggage from one relationship to the next, so
They
we
Right.
do
we
too.
assume we assume that everything is the same. We compare it to what we had before. We do all
Hmm.
of that. We do all of that. If he got dinner cooked every single night, don't think for 1 minute he coming into your relationship expecting it every other night, because he's not. If a woman goes into a relationship and he's paying all of the bills and he's taking care of the household and he's doing it all, you're going to go into the next one with that same mindset, because that's what you're accustomed to. So we carry it from one relationship to the next, and we assume everybody is the same. And you're right, they are not. So I
Right.
suggest, dear Black men, that you ask, am I the same as the last one you were with? And we can just straighten that out from the beginning. So, one last thing that you would say to Black men. One thing that you would say to Black men that's important to you. Um, Val, you're married. Stephanie, you and I are single. Just one Black thing. If you could say to your husband one thing that as a Black man he could do differently, or he could do better, or he could do something he's never done before, what would that be?
Well, ironically, I think I just said it because that's actually a conversation we've had about, him. And we've been together now for 18 years. But one of the things we've talked about is, get to know me. Like my husband's great. And, there are things he likes to do for me. And what I've tried to explain is some of these things that you like to do aren't necessarily things I need. Like I don't need a gift certificate to a spa because that's not who I am. So when it
Right.
comes time to give me gifts, give me stuff that I actually enjoy. And sometimes my gift might just be everybody leave the house. But, so that's actually a conversation we've been having. So
Right. Right.
that's what, and despite how long you've been together, it's never too late to have that conversation, and there's
Yes.
always new things that come up. So that's a conversation that we've been having, just talking about me knowing him and knowing the things that he likes, and him knowing me and knowing the things that I like, so that we're on the same page. So that's the message that I've recently shared with my husband, and that's what we talk about.
Stephanie, what's your message, dear Black men?
Dear Black men, if you are involved with a woman, I'll just say any woman, do that thing that is extra special to her, that makes her feel extra special. Go the extra length. It matters. It matters a lot. If you want to keep that relationship, you have to nurture it. You can't just kind of rely on
Yeah.
what you used to do. And we good like that. You're not. You're
Right.
not.
I would definitely say, dear Black men, whatever your expectations are, bring those to the table with you too. So whatever you expect of us, bring that with you. Don't expect it if you're not willing to do it. If you're not,
Right.
because, and I also want to say to Black men, if you're coming, I need you to be all in. I need you to be all in. If you are going in, and listen, you don't ever have to be all in if you're not ready or if you don't
Right.
want to. But when you
Right.
make that
Right.
decision, you need to be all in. And whatever you feel at those points in your life, because relationships do change, people change, things happen. And so the longer you're together, the more changes you will see in your relationship. I need you to be able to communicate what you're feeling when you're feeling it, what you're thinking when you're thinking it. So that means all in. So that means even when I'm going through menopause, I got to be able to share that. Listen, right now, for like the next 6 to 12 months, might not be all there with you. You know what I mean? It might not be all there, but this is why. Okay, this is why. Doesn't mean I don't love you. Doesn't mean I'm walking out the door, but I need to communicate with you where I'm at and what I'm feeling. And I need you
Right.
to do the same thing. And that is being all in. So to Black men, I need you to come. And when you come, I need you to be all in. Anything else?
Grooming, impeccable grooming.
Yeah, and we need you to be groomed. Yes, yes. Women take pride in their grooming. I know some men would say I beg to differ with some, but okay. But for the most part, I will say to men and women, I'm gonna need you to be groomed. Okay.
Impeccably
Right.
groomed,
I'm,
please.
I'm gonna need your hygiene to be tight. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So ladies, as always, it is awesome rocking with y'all on Mondays and Wednesdays on the GYST. And to those of you who are watching and joining us every single time, we so appreciate you and love you for real. So thank you for joining us for another episode of the GYST, because when it comes to life, love, and the pursuit of happiness, sometimes you just need a moment to get your shit together. And so do we. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.